Okay, hey guys, hey Silvers, welcome to the call. So glad you guys could pop on tonight. Hey, I have a special guest with me. He goes, hey, you want me to pop on with you tonight? I'm like, that would be great. This is my husband, Justin, and
I can't see. What's wrong with
I don't know, we're having lighting issues, guys. So sorry. It's like my computer fades in and out.
Maybe
See?
I'm making noise or something.
It's so odd. Anyways, okay. Well, super glad you guys can all pop on. Thank you, by the way, for popping on. It shows that you guys are leaders because you're on the call tonight. And those of you who are going to be listening, those of you who listen are obviously wanting to see some growth in your businesses. And so you're doing the things. You're hopping on. You're being present. You're showing up. That's awesome. So thank you for your commitment and your leadership. I just see lots of leadership and gifts emerging on our team, and it's exciting. It's exciting to see. I mean, to me, we're all growing and learning together, right? It's just a big learning curve. And I was listening to a call by Chris and Susie McCall last night, and they were on the Jewel page, actually, and they were saying how they were just encouraging everyone that humility and gratitude are the two things. And they said if you have those two things, you'll rock the socks off this thing and you'll take it to the top. And I really appreciated that reminder, just in light of the whole journey, I don't know, to me that Plexus is a gift. It was something that I came into not expecting. I wasn't looking for, what it's become. I was simply wanting to try the products. And so just remembering the gratitude part and the humility part is just, I think, so important to remember. But anyways, I just have a few things. There were some questions that were submitted to me, and so this call is going to be very informal, kind of like if you were sitting in my living room, which would be ideal, and we were all drinking tea and fun drinks, But since we can't all be in my living room, this will be the next best option. And so be encouraged, because this business is a monkey see, monkey do business, and it's follow the leader. Follow the leaders. What I've done to get to where I am and what Justin is doing, we're doing what our sponsors have told us to do. Pave the way. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel or create new systems or anything like that. It's a follow the leader business, and it's a learnable thing. I didn't come into Plexus with a skill set. I mean, I had some basic people skills, I think, and I have fairly okay influence, I think. And obviously, there's just be encouraged that you don't have to have a super huge skill set to do well with Plexus. It's something you can learn. So hopefully you guys took the time, a few minutes, to listen to his Eric Worre videos last night. I posted in that thread. I've listened to him before, but I was just reminded, loved what he shared and how simple. I mean, really, it's simple. I totally tracked with what he shared, and I was inspired. And I'm trying to figure out when would be a good time to do a 30-day push. And really, if you don't have a time to do a 30-day push, you could even do a day push or a week push or a weekend push. If you're able to clear your schedule a bit and really do that focus time, you'll see huge increases in your business because you've increased activity. And I appreciated what he shared. And I've heard other network marketer teachers and coaches say this, is a lot of times the reason why people fall flat in network marketing isn't because the industry doesn't work or whatever. It's usually because they simply haven't had enough action or momentum to get the plane off the ground. They may do a little, you may dabble, but in order to actually get that plane soaring and you have that big momentum happening and you have those teams growing, is the input on the front end enough to get the plane off the ground. So the things that I've done from silver to sapphire have been the same things, or I should say silver to diamond, because the way points are projecting and what the importance of this month is looking like diamond. So super excited about that. But the skills that I have developed and the tasks that I'm doing and have done are the same things. Now, I would say I believe I've gotten better at those things, but it's something that you just jump in and you start doing, you start learning, you start seeing what works, what doesn't work, and you start being coached by people. So I would just say, okay, I wrote a few notes here. Yeah, I did the things and worked on perfecting them. And it's the things that I did is exactly what your IPA journal outlines. So mine wasn't as neat and tidy as that. I have my notebook full of papers and lists and more lists and more lists. And someone actually asked me about organization and systems. Hot mess over here, guys. You can get the Sapphire and Diamond without being super organized. I mean, there's certain, I think that I've gotten better at certain things, and even in, I have to, I mean, I do what works for me, and you'll do what works for you. And so in my family life and my home organizing, like I have to be, you know, kind of have a maintaining system. Like I meal plan. I have to plan my day, my schedule, things like that for homeschooling. I can only function so long in a disaster tornado mess in my house. Like that's just me. But I have 6 kids and I have this Plexus business. We work together. We play together. We're constantly at home together. And so I've had to let some things go, not be so OCD all the time, and learn. I mean, I'm learning balance. I'm learning how to make this thing work, right? And you'll do the same in your business with your family and as you work Plexus and go up the ranks. So in light of organization, the IPA journal is actually super helpful. And those are the tasks that will get you where you want to go. Those are the tasks that will get you to your goal, which I'll just say really quick. You want to make sure you've established a very clear goal and a very clear why. So your why is something that should make you cry. It should have some emotion attached to it. So instead of just being like very general and saying, oh, I want to help people, or I want to help help myself feel better, go deeper than that and actually think the why behind it, the reasoning. Your goal can look like, maybe you look at those income disclosure charts or the rank goals, or, maybe it's a number amount financially that you would like to make in terms of working this business. So those are some things that you want to make sure you set out and have in line. The IPA journal is just very simple, and if you do those daily tasks, you will see growth in your business over time. Okay, you may not see immediate results within 2 weeks. Some people do, but you over the course of 90 days, it's that 90-day rule that comes into play. That is where you'll see harvesting the seeds that you're planting. Okay, and if you're not seeing fruit within those days, please message your sponsor. Please message your uplines or me. We want to help you be successful. And if you're not, after 90 days, seeing any growth whatsoever, then it's probably goes back to either a personal growth thing, fears, underlying fears, or maybe the way that you're approaching people in your reach outs. And so, because some coaching on that, sending screenshots of what you're saying might be helpful. So, organization. I have my purple binder. That's the way I've been organized. My IPA journal is basically what I do every day. I'm, from from silver to sapphire, or actually before silver, I was doing those things. I was starting to reach out to people, send some messages and follow up with people that have had liked or commented on my posts, or, that maybe joined me as a customer. I would follow up with those people. So it's chatting with people. It's networking. It's looking for open doors. I'm not looking for a sale. Like, I don't view Plexus as selling anything. I simply am sharing. I'm sharing my story on Facebook. That Facebook posting is important. It's like the lifeline of your business. It's a very easy way to get the word out about Plexus. And then the reach out, going to people instead of just waiting for everyone to come to you. You might be able to just get to Diamond like that. I would say most people don't. You have to, at some point, start reaching out to other people and work off that Frank's list. So if you don't have a Frank's list, make sure you have one and that you're systematically working through that. One thing I did after I kind of did my Frank's list, like people that I felt, I went through all my, my memory joggers to get those people closest to me, those my warm market people. Then I downloaded my Facebook friends list to Excel. Actually, I'm not very techie. I had a sideline friend do it for me. And so she downloaded it to me, sent it to me. And so I just worked. So if I'm going to go cold contact and like do that IPA power hour, I just work systematically through that. And I started at Z. I think I'm up through the K or the L's. I can't remember. My goal is the A's by the end of the year. So I'll let you know how that goes. So anyways, that's super important. And reaching out in cold calls, that's something that I was asked about. Did you have anything that you wanted to
No, not yet.
share so far? Okay. Reaching out in cold calls. So I recommend making sure that you have reached out to all of your friends and your family first before you reach out to people that are outside of that close circle. So those people are ones to message first. Obviously, I don't necessarily give scripts because I think it sounds canned and it sounds ingenuine if you use someone else's scripts. But I think what is helpful is when you see what other people are saying and you can tweak it to make it your own wording. And when I'm reaching out to people, it's so varied. I mean, if I'm going to reach out to my best friend Meg and tell her about Plexus, I'm not going to send her a Facebook message. I'm going to chat with her when I'm on my walk and say, hey, Meg, you need to try Plexus with me. I mean, have you ever tried it, ever heard of it? You know, anyone told you about it yet? There's some people that are close to us, like that's the way they should be approached. And you will know organically who those people are that you should reach out to in person. Maybe your sisters, your BFFs, your mom, your aunts, things like that. And then depending on, you know, maybe it's a phone call, maybe it's a text message or a Facebook message. You have to kind of gauge that. It has to be the intuitive part of you that tells you how to reach out to someone. And then the next thing to find out is what to say. Like, well, how do I reach out to this person? And I think that you approach it just like you would if you were chatting with them in person. I mean, it would be a direct approach, or, I mean, if you feel like you need to chit chat with them first, I mean, that's fine if they're close enough to you. The only thing I would say about that is when I message people about Plexus, I am direct. I don't, I don't reach out to them and butter them up first, because some people feel like that's really ingenuine and that the only reason you reached out to connect with them was to eventually share Plexus with them. And so I basically approach it one of two ways. I'm either directly approaching them about Plexus, or I'm connecting with them only on a friendship basis or a friendship level in order to develop a more deeper relationship with them. I'm not going to bring up Plexus. With those relationship developing people, I wait for them to bring it up. Does that make sense? So, and what I say when I'm going to reach out to someone, so say it's, say it's a cousin of mine that I'm not super close to. It's an acquaintance. I would still consider them a warm market person, but it's not like a complete stranger. I would say just something like, hey, Chloe, hope you're having a great day. You popped in my brain today, and I totally thought I should ask, check and see if you have any friends that have introduced you to Plexus yet. Super excited about what it's done for me and the kids, and we're feeling really good. And so I thought I'd just reach out and share it with you. Now, sometimes I will preface it and say, so maybe it's my other cousin. Hey, Jen, this may or may not be for you, but I totally thought of you and thought it would be a disservice not to reach out to you about Plexus, because I'm sure someone will at some point. But I just wanted to tell you what I'm doing, and I'm loving it, and that I have been so blessed that some friends reached out to me about it. So I thought I'd share it with you. Sometimes I make it super short and sweet, and I'll just say, maybe it's a girl from high school. Hey, Erin, just curious, have you ever heard of Plexus? Like, super short. You kind of have to gauge whether it's someone that you can actually say that to. Like, it has to feel organic to you. Like, if you have seen their kids' pictures and they recently popped up in your Facebook feed, maybe you'll just say, hey, hey, Lucy, I saw your new baby pictures. Those are adorable. Totally reminded me that I hadn't reached out to you about Plexus yet. It totally may not be for you, or maybe someone else would benefit from this. I was just going to let you know what I'm doing, let you know I'm loving it. And if you ever decide, you're curious and want to learn more, I'd be happy to share it with you. So those are just some script ideas that I use. Justin can maybe share how he reaches out to people or doesn't reach out to people in light of cold contacting.
I'm not a big cold message person. It feels awkward to me. I still do it, and it's produced some fruit. But for me, what I enjoy doing the most is just being out and about and talking to people, whether it's at the gym, if it's at a coffee shop, wherever it might be. I prefer doing that over cold messaging someone. And I think it's important too that if it's somebody that I'm friends with, if it's a close acquaintance, if it's a friend, somebody I know, someone that I would call my warm market, someone I have a relationship with, If I feel the timing's right, and I think timing is very, very important. So if I feel the timing's right, I'll just go out and ask him. I'm like, hey, you want to try this Plexus stuff or what? And I'm a little more bold with them just because I have a free relationship, to speak that way to those people.
Or they would say no if they're not like, not for me.
And guys are different. They just tell you to get lost or whatever, and then we just move on and have our cup of coffee or continue at the gym, whatever it is we're doing. So those guys I feel free to reach out to. People that I don't know, though, people that stranger, someone that would be in my cold, like I would call a cold market. The idea a lot of times is not to get someone in the cold market to join. That's not really the idea. Sometimes it happens, and that's incredible. We've had that happen. It's been amazing. We've met people at church on vacation, and we've met people at the Noah's Ark adventure, and it just worked out. I don't know how it works out. At a wedding, we've met people at weddings, and so sometimes it does in a cold market situation. It does work out, but most of the time it doesn't. So what you have to do is make that cold market warm, and you do that by just talking to them, not trying to sell Plexus, just enjoying them as a person, just talking to them. Hey, how you doing today? And you develop a relationship, and that relationship becomes warm, and they see your posts on Facebook. They know what you're about, and they'll start asking questions eventually. So that's just a couple things that I do. When I first started, I thought everybody was in my warm market and wanted to buy stuff from me, and so I was bold with all of them, and it didn't really work out. So I've had to develop over time. I've had to learn about the difference between a warm market, cold market, and then also learn how to make your cold market warm. And
social perception is maybe something where you're perceiving if the timing is right. And with your closest friends and family, I really liked Beach Money. If you guys haven't read that book, that was a really quick read, but it was just basic network marketing skills. I really appreciate some of the network marketer, teacher, coach people, like not even Plexus people, just in general, because they're really like personal people, people that you want to chat with, like they're connectors, they add value to people. I love how they present. Like they're basically looking for an open door. That's what we're looking for. Like if not, like no big deal, no worries. Like we're still friends. We share Plexus with people, just like we share other things with people that we see could benefit them. And if they're not interested in Dave Ramsey or Jesus or other things that we stand for and we support and share with people, like that's okay. Completely fine. Social perception is really important because sometimes you have to go with your gut, even with reaching out to people. Like, it's not time to reach out to that person, or it's not time to follow up with that person yet. Be sure when you are working on cold market stuff, get out of your bubble. That's what I was going to say. Get out of your bubble. I met Lynn at a wedding. Lynn has added 50 plus people and tons of customers to her team in like a month and a half or 2 months. I don't remember. She just started sharing on Facebook recently. And so you will meet people that you didn't know prior to Plexus, but you have to get out of your bubble. If I would have been in my own little bubble, not saying anything, and she was, busy, and we were sitting by each other, but we connected and friend people on Facebook. Like that's the way. That's so much easier and less salesy than handing a business card. Seriously, it's really super easy. Like, hey, I love chatting with you. I'd love to connect with you more. You follow us on Facebook, or we live our lives in an open book. Follow us, and I'd love to connect with you. You want to find yourself? Are you on Facebook? That'd be super fun. And then screenshot them. That way you don't forget their name or whatever. Like if you're on a trip or on vacation, always be networking. And it's not like creepy networker stuff. Like to me, that's weird. Don't be weird. Just be genuine, love people. Some people you're just going to connect with because God has a plan for you to hear their story and it to speak to your heart. Or maybe you're able to share with your kids some story or something that you learned from someone. And it's like that learning thing. Always be asking questions, learning from people, connecting with people, loving people. That's what this thing is. And so with cold calls, I don't mind cold messaging. Like I work up through my little, friends list and send out messages. Some people I know well, some people I don't know very well or not at all. Like I don't know how we became friends. So I figure, hey, they might be praying for a health answer. They may be praying for some sort of financial answer. Maybe God's sending me to them. Who knows? I love the Secret Code of Success. Here's a plug for that. If you're not reading Secret Code of Success, go order the book, download the free download. There's seriously no reason why not to read the book. It will help you get rid of your head trash, because we all have some amount of head trash this is what I do and did, is assume the negative instead of assuming the positive. Instead of assuming, oh, they're not interested, oh, they think, oh, I might be bugging them. Have the confidence that, you know what, they may be praying for an answer. And look, I am so thankful that people went out of their comfort zone and got out of their bubble to share with me about Plexus. I had multiple people reach out to me over the course of like 18 months. And I was seeing it everywhere, seeing it more and more. And I was like, what is this stuff? Okay, so I think we definitely need to be framing things in the positive instead of assuming always the worst, assuming the negative. Okay, so someone asked me what things to avoid. Is there anything to avoid on this Plexus journey? I guess I was kind of reflecting a little bit. I didn't take a whole lot of time to think about it, but I would say two things come to my mind. Number one is avoid being average. It doesn't take much to be above average. Go for it. Don't be average. Do more than is expected. And the other thing I would say, encourage everyone with, is not to be uncoachable. Be willing to learn. If your sponsor has something that and you can ask your sponsor, hey, is there something that I could be better at? Or what do you see in my Facebook posting that could be better? What about these messages? Can you coach me on this? Asking questions. So, but I would say those two things, that's what came to my mind. Do you have anything that you could add?
One thing, a couple things to avoid. One thing would be scrolling. Scrolling is such a time killer, it's not working. That's the difference. I mean, I think a lot of times we think that we're really working this Plexus thing, and you've just been scrolling for 30 minutes. You haven't done anything. You haven't talked to one. You've liked some stuff, and there is some benefit to liking other people's posts and being active on Facebook. I'm not saying that that's not important. I think it's very important to like other people's stuff, to support other people. But if all you're doing is scrolling and not really interacting with people, that's just such a time killer in this business. So I would just be careful of scrolling. That's one thing. Another thing is complaining. I think complaining is such a big problem, especially on Facebook. We're a social media type of business, and just the whining and complaining and negativity and blah, 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 blah. Who wants to join that? I don't. I mean, I'll unfriend you quick. If you're wearing me out with all, I heard Lou Holtz. He was the famous football coach for Notre Dame Fighting Irish. He's a wonderful man. And I heard him say the other day, he said, don't tell everybody your problems. 90% of them don't care. 90% of the people don't care, and the other 10% are glad you've got your problems. He says, just keep them to yourself. I'm not saying there's not time to air out dirty laundry, but I don't know that Facebook is the place when you're involved in a social media business. It's just not attractive, and people are looking, honestly, for an opportunity. They're looking. A lot of people know that network marketing is a wonderful industry, and they're just not going to be calling you. If you're whining and complaining and negative all the time, they're not going to be joining your team. It's just the way it is.
Drama. And you'll attract that if that's what you put out.
Right. You attract, yeah, I think that's true. And I think that something I told some guys the other night is that I said, quit looking for a rock star. Quit hoping for your rock star. Be your own rock star. Start acting like a rock star, and you'll attract rock stars. Business builders are out there, and they're just waiting for an opportunity. And
they're going to join someone.
So present yourself as the opportunity, and they'll join you before they'll join Plexus. They'll join a person because of their leadership style, because of their attitude, because of their success, whatever. So be careful how you post. I think that's an important thing to avoid. That's about. I put
comparing. Stop. That's the other thing. Comparing. It's easy to in this business. It really in anything, even as moms, we just compare. I think it's human nature, and when you compare, you go down a slippery slope. And I would just encourage you. You guys' journeys are your own, so own it. If it's not going as fast as you want, then I would start evaluating, ask for coaching, things like that. But the comparison game doesn't get you anywhere. It's a waste of brain space and energy. So, okay, routine. Someone asked me about routines. Okay, none of my days look the same. And in a business where you work from home and all your kids are at home and you homeschool and it's just like messy life. And there's I don't have any magic routine pills. Like I have what I want to get done, and like I've kind of lined out my day, but it never goes like that. Even in road construction, Justin's like, well, I have my plan, but my plan never worked. I mean, it's just how life goes, right? Yeah. And so I just am really intentional to make sure that I get the priorities done. So for example, yesterday, my priority was to get school done. And so guess what? I went around the whole day looking and smelling, I should be careful with my comparisons. I went around the whole day without a shower. I was not a very attractive, didn't have makeup on. But some days I prioritized that I got my exercise in and I wanted to get school done. And I wanted to wham, bam, get it done. So that was not my priority that day. Today, my priority was to go to get a pedicure and actually put makeup on and get dressed and look nice today. My house looks like a tornado. Like, I'll just be honest. But yeah, I think the main idea is that you guys prioritize your Plexus business so that every day you are doing something to grow your business. So for you, that might look like the IPA journal, just making sure you fill that out every day. The consistency of that over time is what will help you see results. And so when my team was smaller, okay, so in light of my routine, I usually get up and I like to read first thing, doing a little bit of personal growth. I do Bible time with my kids, and that's during their school time. But personal growth first thing in the morning, prayer. I like to get exercise in if the night hasn't been crazy and we got up late. I like to get some exercise in. It just power charges my day. I do scroll my messages real quick to see if there's anything urgent that I need to address that can't wait till later when I have time to actually sit down and go through things. But pretty much my morning is homeschooling. Sometimes I'll get a quick snatch in there to go do something. I actually have a helper that's helping us with homeschooling, so we're actually done quicker. And we have a lot of little children needing one-on-one stuff. So it just is helpful for right now in the season. And then after lunch, babies lay down for naps. It's a little bit less crazy. And so I usually sit down, for a couple hours to work Plexus. And then I schedule coaching calls usually in the evening. And I do Plexus till we go to bed, which is late. I have worked my business nights and weekends and when most people would be sleeping, because that's how it's worked for me. Now, some people have a different life where maybe you're at home, your children go to school, and so you're able to spend waking hours working your business. That just wasn't what worked for me. And I will just encourage you guys that you can work Plexus along full-time jobs, along full-time mothering, full-time homeschooling, whatever your life looks like. So be encouraged with that, is you can work it into nooks and crannies. And as you go, if your goal is to be a jewel rank, it will have to be at some point be more than nooks and crannies. I'll just be honest with you. Like, you can't expect to be an Emerald and work Plexus 30 to 45 minutes a day. Like, just not going to cut it. Unless maybe you sign up a Rockstar and they do all the work for you, which can happen. But I would say that what was most beneficial, because I was asked this, what was most beneficial? I would just say just doing the things. I mean, reaching out, following up, learning. The things that were beneficial that grew my business is that I was in recruitment mode hugely. I really wasn't in training mode. Like, I haven't taken the time to train people till, I would say, once I hit Emerald. I mean, I did lead some challenge groups and things like that, and I did not do personal one-on-one coaching calls really until I was a Jewel. And so let your jewels do that type of stuff for you. I mean, I'm not saying don't train your people at all, but I'm just saying from some of these bigger things that we do, like we do some challenge groups, we do, like this call tonight, plug your people into those, and you spend your time recruiting. And recruiting means you're reaching out, you're following up, you're presenting this opportunity and the products to people. And I would just also put a plug in, don't just reach out to people about the products. We basically got to Sapphire as a team reaching out with products. And I always will recommend, I'll always say, yes, we need to lead with products, but also the business is something that we also need to be sharing. Because if you're simply posting about products, you're simply attracting sick people, your business will not have huge momentum. The way you find momentum is by attracting business builders. So that means you're posting to Reds. If you haven't read the 4 Color Personalities of MLM, Network Marketing, be sure to get that, or go online and just get a brief synopsis of it. You want to be attracting Reds, which I realize when you post to Reds, you might turn off some other people or some negative people in your life that think it's taboo and that you should be poor your whole life. The world operates off of business and off of that kind of thing, and so that's not a bad thing. Like, I think we have to work on our mindset in light of, this is a business, it's legit, and I'm presenting opportunities to people. And if they want, it's up to them, obviously, but reaching out to people and sharing about the business is so important. That's what will get you where you want to go. If you want to grow, if you want to hit higher ranks, you have to team build. And so in order to team build, and if you don't want to do it all yourself, which I don't recommend, you need to get people on board that are also going to share with you and duplicate your efforts. When my team was smaller, that's what I did. I got people on board. Like, I got really good at signing up people. And I hope I can keep people too. I don't just sign. That's one thing with strong recruiters, is a lot of times we are not balanced. And so we can sign up people all day long, but then we lose people too because we're not cultivating and nurturing them. So there's a fine balance there. I would also recommend, when you're smaller, make sure you do back office time, and make sure that your people realize the importance of signing up correctly. That means signing up people over the phone, making sure they have their convenience orders set up. Convenience orders is a huge thing I trained on last night with our Gold and Above. We're seeing a lot of people not signing people with convenience orders. And that's a huge issue because, one, the statistics are there. If they don't sign with a convenience order, almost 90% of them will not reorder. And we don't want people trying Plexus for 1 month. It starts with the verbiage on the front end of getting that commitment. Are you committed for 60 to 90 days? If they're not, they need to be a retail customer. Usually I can talk people into preferred. Usually I'm just like, I ask questions, and so they tell me, and then I tell them what they qualify for. So for example, they say, oh, I only want to try it for a month. I'll just say, oh, hey, actually there's a 60-day money guarantee, so I don't ever recommend that people just try it for a month. If you're wanting to do this, it'll be a waste of your money not to try it for at least 60 days minimum. Would you be open to giving it 60 days? I just ask questions, okay? And if they say yes, I say, okay, perfect. You qualify for a preferred customer program. And then once you decide you love it, then you can always upgrade to ambassador, get wholesale pricing, things like that. Now, you'll have to just ask people and get a feel. If they have a big family, if they, husband and wife want to do it, they're committed to the products for at least 60 days or maybe 3 to 6 months, then no brainer. You should be an ambassador. It makes sense. I plug people into the ambassador option so much more because I think the team page culture is so valuable, is that people realize that, oh, well, I could do this. This is all we have to do. You have to get 3 people. Well, I can be silver. Well, yeah, I'd love to get my products paid for. So having those conversations with them and then helping them sign up correctly over the phone, that's a big, big, big thing. And Justin just did a training on that on the team page about how he signs up people, and it's over the phone. So important.
Yep.
When people don't set up a convenience order, usually it's a verbiage issue on the sponsor's end, that they're not sure what to say, or they say too much, and then people get confused. People that are coming to you ready to try Plexus are trusting you, and they'll just probably most likely want you to tell them what they should be. If people aren't setting up, if the sponsors aren't having their people set up convenience orders, usually it's a lack of belief in the products or the company, or an underlying fear. And so, yeah, the goal is not to just get the ambassadors to sign on, because really, if your team recruited 7 ambassadors but only 4 have welcome packs, you've only recruited 4. You cannot count those other 3. So the front end commitment is super, super important, and we don't want people just like trying it for a month and then falling off the bandwagon. Just think about how long and how much you have invested in people. When maybe you've chatted with them for 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years. Maybe they've watched you for 2 years, and then finally they're ready, and you don't help them set up a convenience order, and then you get busy with other people and you forget to check back in, and their products didn't ship. They got busy, and they're like, oh yeah, I didn't really see anything. I don't want Plexus. I don't have money this month. So that's why it's super, super important, is we want people to have results on their products. The second thing I would do with a smaller team is make sure you're well acquainted with your back office. Make sure you're plugging into the Rank Up roadmap and tracking. So if you're not familiar with your reports, make sure you click on your customer report and also your detailed genealogy, and you'll be able to see in your columns, and you'll by their colors, who has convenience orders set up, and then you can go reach out to their sponsors if they forgot to, or a lot of people think they set it up automatically, and that's not the case. They have to manually make sure they set that up. And don't feel bad about reaching back out to people like, hey, I just noticed your back office isn't set up completely. Can I help you get that fixed tonight? And actually do it for them. It'll help them. They won't have to waste the brain space or energy on trying to figure it out. Just do it for them. So, and the other thing, let me think here. Yeah. Okay, we already talked about this. So the big A word that we chatted about last night with the golds and above was attrition. And so it's kind of like a bathtub. You always have water coming in, you have some water coming out. There's always going to be more people coming in, people going out, deciding that's not for them. But the thing is, we want that to be in balance. And the way to capitalize on that on the front end is to help people make sure they set up those convenience orders. One thing that I just had this recommendation. I'm very visual, and Wendy's on here. She gave me this idea, and this was when she was earning Leaders Retreat the first year. Okay, the first year, Wendy was one of my first ambassadors. I didn't know what I was doing, and except that I loved the products, and I was helping people get signed up, and I was excited. And I didn't even know that my people should do Leaders Retreat. Like, I didn't know that I would even earn it, and so I was just like, oh, cool. I think I earned a spot. That's neat. Well, Wendy, like 2 weeks before the end of the contest, she's like, hey, Megan, I think I could earn this. I need 10 more people. And, well, let me just say, as a silver, when someone says, hey, I just need 10 more people, some of you silvers are thinking, 10? How do we get 10 people? Wendy is a go-getter. She's not an excuse maker. She made a plan and she achieved her goal. And if you haven't listened to her video on how she achieved Leaders Retreat that first year, go to the team page and search it. Just click on the videos and you can scroll until you see Wendy's face. I love this idea. So get a whiteboard or whatever, your fridge, and take Post-it notes. And if you have a goal, say you want to get to gold and you're halfway there, you need 10 more people, right? 10 more ambassadors. Put 10 Post-it notes on your fridge. Start praying for those people to come to your team. Start pouring into the people that are already on your team, helping them go silver, and you kick it into Plexus Ninja mode and start messaging, inviting people, to check out Plexus. Start signing up your people. And that, I'm just a visual person, and so I track with that. And so that, to me, is like, oh my word, you can see it. You can see your goals lined out. You start filling up those little Post-it notes with your sweet friends, your sweet people, your sweet teammates, right? I love, love, love that idea, so I wanted to share that. Okay, and I'll just say really quick, next week, next Monday, starts our Inflammation Incineration Challenge. Super excited. Lisa and Angie are going to be leading that, and that starts Monday, so definitely utilize for your teams. I'll just say really quick, one of our silvers was called by compliance today because saying inflammation and linking it with Plexus is not compliant. So we have to use words to disguise that. So you can use the word puffy, you can use the word, like any adjective you can think of to explain what inflammation is. You can also use like chronic discomfort. That's okay to say. I feel like the word has gotten out a lot about this challenge, so I don't think you can still post about it, but use a different word than inflammation, obviously. And it's your choice. You don't have to, but you might get called by compliance, and then they'll have you delete those posts. So compliance is our friend, so don't freak out if you get called. I know Jessica Heffley has gotten called before. They just want to protect us as ambassadors. So reach out privately to people or set it just to friends only. And we can share about it in our groups, obviously, because that's kind of hidden from public mainstream search engines that are looking for those trigger words. They don't want us claiming that Plexus cures, heals, treats, things like that. So definitely utilize this and make sure your teammates are on board. I went in the challenge group the other day. I was adding one of my silvers, and I was like, oh, there's leaders that haven't joined the group yet. So make sure that you're in that group and that your people are. As long as they have their slim and their 2 or 3 bottles of Ease ordered. Some people are doing 2 slims a day. So whatever combo of products you want, it just has to equal 100 PV for our white lines, for our ambassadors that are just joining and they want to do it with us. It has to be 100 PV, okay? Are we covered if we go back and change those posts to friends only to the public? Compliance would say no, but I would say, yeah, you're fine. And I'm not going to go say you have to go delete every post you've ever posted, because in reality, probably a lot of the posts that we post are not compliant. So if you're going to go by the letter of the law of compliance, you can basically share the shareables and say, I feel better because of Plexus. Share your stories, but do try to use wording that's not loud and proud out there using disease names. Does that make sense? So try to describe your symptoms more than actually use specific trigger words, basically. Okay. The second thing is, Maui. Next year, 2018, we do not want to be the only jewels on our team in Maui, which I know we won't because we have people getting ready to rank up, but we would love for you guys to be there too. And it's doable, it's possible, but you have to start now. You can't decide next spring that you want to go because barring some sort of crazy miracle, it takes time to build a team to emerald level or above. Okay. So I'm going to challenge you guys, like I challenged the golds and above, is go fast, start gold. Wherever you're at in your journey right now, you can still fast start gold. You won't obviously get the bonuses, but basically what it is recruiting 20 people in 30 days. And that's what Eric Worre was challenging, in those videos to do. If you need to see momentum in your business, it starts with you, and that success loves speed. That whole idea, I love what he shared. And maybe for your teammates, that would be overwhelming to tell them that. And so maybe you just say, hey, what if we really amp up what we are going to do this month and go double silver? You have a call? Justin has a call. So, and I'll just say, let's see. Yes, team building, super, super important. And then the last thing I'll just say really quick is that Rocktober challenge group is, I'm leading one, but also Tamara Holloway on Diamonds in the Making, she just announced that she's going to be leading one. So you actually have 2 opportunities. I would just recommend that you pick one or the other. Like, I don't care who's you participate in. For me, I only have time to do one. And so obviously I'm going to do the one I'm leading, but that's just I was going to remind everyone that you can choose. And if you are someone that has a lot of free time to work and you want to do both, your business will grow. And that the difference basically is Tamara's is going to be very, very large, and she's going to have some heavy hitter leader jewels and diamonds on it. So that would be hugely beneficial. Ours is going to be smaller and more intimate, and obviously people on one team. So definitely feel free to pick which one you want to do, but the qualification for ours is that you're doing the September shift and the IPA journal. So I'm super excited about that. And I have a leaders retreat planned for one team. So the qualification for that is senior gold by the end of December. So just keep that in mind, guys. All right, let's open it up for questions really quick. If you have a question, just unmute. And if I forgot to address a question that you had specifically, I'd be happy to help answer. So if we post to friends only, can we use specific conditions? I don't do that. Like, if it's like, I try to be really careful about using terms like IBS, fibromyalgia, multiple sclerosis, however you say that. Like those big trigger disease names, I just don't share them on open Facebook. I'll put them in my What is Plexus group if I see a cool testimony, or I'll share it privately, but I typically try to be careful with my wording, just because I know I'm an example. So I know a lot of people are following me, and we do want to make sure that we're compliant. So now that we know, we'll change our wording on that. Okay. Hopefully this group isn't so big that y'all are afraid to say something, because I like it when we dialogue. Yeah.
So obviously we've had this hurricane thing kind of mess things up. And I feel insensitive reaching out to people because they still don't have power. And I'm trying to figure out how not to backslide when most of my contacts are in my area and affected by this. Do you have any suggestions how to work around that?
I would just connect with people without sharing Plexus. I would just send out like your IPA messages. They don't have to be about Plexus. Just be connecting with people. Like, hey girl, how are you doing? How'd everything fare? I mean, just connecting with them on a personal level. That's what I would do. To me, a reach out is a reach out, whether it's a connection with someone because you're connecting with them, or you're actually specifically reaching out to them, inviting them to take a look at Plexus. I think it's just using those skill sets to connect with people. It's kind of like when someone is in a crisis, you know that they lost someone close to them, or loss of a job, or, some sort of stressful situation. I mean, obviously, it wouldn't feel organic to reach out to them about Plexus, right? So it's more of like you connect with them on a different level about something else. And then maybe when the timing is right, then, who knows, they might be ready to hear about Plexus. What is the IPA? Okay, I should have not assumed that everyone understood what IPA was. Okay, so IPA is, and this means, it's an acronym that means income producing activity. So basically, things that you do on a daily basis that will create income for you. And so it would be things like posting on Facebook, reaching out to people about Plexus, following up with people, obviously signing up people, things like that. So the IPA journal is a specific book that we have. Where's mine? It's right here. So it just has a list of like contact 5 new people, follow up with 3 people, 1 active ambassador, social media posts, and like adding friends on Facebook. Things like that. So the adding friends on Facebook is important. So if you don't have 500 friends yet, work up to 500. If you don't have 1,000 yet, then let that be your goal. Because we just have to, yeah, it ends up being kind of a numbers thing in light of, I always tell people, if you want to sign up 3, if you want to go silver, you may reach out to like 100 people, and normally hear back from about 10% of them, and then you might sign up between 2 and 5 over the course of time. And so the numbers thing really does come into play. Okay, who else has questions? I'm close to 500. 1,000 seems daunting, but I'm working towards that. So yeah, and the way I friend people is my relatives that don't do Plexus, I'll go friend some of our mutual friends that I'm not friends with, or making sure that all my relatives are on my Facebook feed. I was very private before Plexus, and I only friended people if I knew them and knew them well. But then once I started Plexus, I was like, oh, the friends you may know little thing, I would go there and friend people. And now I'm choosier, and so I have to look and see if I have mutual Plexus friends, like people on my team. I try not to friend those people. And right now I try to friend people only that, we don't have mutual friends with, or all of our mutual friends are like non-Plexus people. That way, because I don't want to sign up someone. Like sometimes you'll just friend someone and not realize that they're actually closer in connection. Like maybe the pastor's wife of one of your teammates, and then she'd be like, "How did you sign up my pastor's wife?" So I mean, sometimes just the awareness of when you're friending people. Same with when you go into groups. I find I go into groups and connect with people that way and friend them. So those are some ways that I network online. Any other specific questions, guys? Don't be afraid to unmute. There's a little button on the left-hand corner. You can unmute and, oh, hey.
Hey, it's Carrie. I know it doesn't say that probably, but how do you organize your follow-ups? I know you said you don't have like it super organized, and I know in IPA you have a place where you've reached out. Let's say you start a conversation with 10 people though. How do you kind of organize yourself to follow them up so you don't like let one slip through the cracks, I guess?
I haven't. I'll just be completely honest. Like, do you want to see my follow-up? Like, my follow-up lists are so long and messy and not. So I glance, I'll just like, I haven't had followed up with in a while. I'll just start there.
Okay.
One thing that Andrea Mitchell has a system I liked, but it just didn't work for me. Like, I wasn't consistent with it, and so pieces of paper work for me. But
Okay.
she uses like a index card container, and she puts people on index cards and like basically sticks them in order, and then when she follows up, then they go in the back.
Okay.
So I liked that idea. It just, I don't know why the system didn't work for me. It was probably my user error, and I just wasn't consistent with it. Anyone else have any quick tips or things that they feel like are working for them right now?
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
I met up with somebody that does another network marketing thing, Kayani or something like that, and we were giving ideas back and forth, and she suggested meetups. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. I didn't even consider it. Something I had done years ago and not since, but you go on, it's like an app, and you click on different subject headings, like you might want to do a Bible study or a walking group, or somebody that likes knitting, and you meet different people, and it's a way of expanding your network. So just wanted to make that suggestion.
Oh, awesome. That's cool.
It's been neat. Yeah.
There's a lot of ways to connect. I'm just learning more and more. I encourage people to master Facebook first and then move to Instagram, but there's a lot of other ways too. Lynn, did you wave? Did you have something to say?
I was waving at Ashley
Oh.
and everybody else.
Okay. Okay. No one else has any questions? You all good? Did I cover everyone's questions that you guys had? I know that there were some people put some in the comments, in their silver thread. I think it's good to chit chat like this because it just helps everyone have more tools for their tool belt. And sometimes it's not even something I say. Maybe it's something that like Ashley shared or someone else asked the question, and then there's 3 other people that had the same question. Okie doke. We good to go? Anyone? Okay, awesome. Well, we'll pop up. You guys have a great night. Hi ho, here we go. Have a great rest of the week, guys. See ya.